So I saw this clip a few weeks ago online. It was this guy on some African country streets. I think this was some kind of Father's Day commemoration or something. So this interviewer was asking random people to call their dads and say "I love you" to them. It was hilarious. It was one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. Not gonna lie. Yeah, it was school children, it was a random person on the street, it was a grown man, it was different kind of people, a different kind of people that he was asking. And the responses, they literally killed me. Some dads would say to their kids, what have you done? Are you in trouble? What do you want? Right? Like the guy would say, "Hi dad, how are you?" You know, the small talk. And then he said, "Anyway, I just called to say I love you." The dad's responses were wild. Some of them asked, like, "Are you in trouble? Do you need money? Have you been arrested?" Or these were the common questions. These were the common questions to show that you have never said this to me. Why are you saying this now? Is everything okay? Are you okay? And the kid would say, "No, I'm fine. Nothing is wrong. I just wanted to say I love you to you." And the dad would say something like, "Is that why you called me, to disturb me? I'm busy. I'm working." Or if it was a guy calling his dad, the dad would say something like, "Am I your girlfriend? Why are you telling me that? I'm not your girlfriend." Like, hello? Like, it's insane, right? "Am I your girlfriend?" Or, "Why are you sounding feminine like that? Like, are you becoming sweet?" That kind of thing. So it was funny because the dads were completely oblivious. They didn't know how to take it. Some would just beat around the bush, or some would say, "Okay, I heard you," or some would say, "Thank you." It was crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it was one of the best things I've ever seen, but also one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen, because it just made me think, about us Africans, how, yeah, you already know what I'm going to say, because I was reading the comments and someone said, "You guys stop stressing our uncles, because your dad is like, if your school fees is paid for, if the fridge is well stocked, then you know that I love you." So this is how African parents communicate their love, right? They provide and they make sure you have everything that you need. So all this thing of expecting your dad or your mom to say "I love you," it's drama. This is what people were saying in the comments, like, "Don't be dramatic. This is our uncles were not built to do this." So cut them some slack. So it was kind of like a consensus of most people, us Africans, saying, don't make them uncomfortable. African parents don't say "I love you," they show love. While some people say genuinely, "Guys, come on, you need to normalize saying "I love you." This is crazy, right? Like, look at this dad. Because there was one guy who was literally going around in circles, and it's just saying anything but like deal with what the kid was saying. And it just made me think, about how us as Africans, how we are conditioned. We are conditioned. I would say the most the number one reason for this is Africans, right? In Africa, at least the way we grew up, I would also say it still stretches to today. Things are hard. Life in Africa is hard. It's just hustling. It's trying to make it to the next day. Being an African, not just being an African, but growing up in Africa is an extreme sport. It is an extreme sport, unless if you're the creme de la crema, the top echelon of African society. But for most of us, being African is an extreme sport. Our parents would literally work themselves off to get money to send us to school, to get school fees, to get food, to pay rent, and just make sure we are alive. Waking up in Africa and being alive, you would literally say, "Thank you, Jesus." I really think that's why Africans are very religious, because we need God. In Africa, we need God. We need some kind of hope. It's really unlike, what I've seen in the Western countries. people don't need to believe in anything. They don't need a God because they can fare without God. But in Africa, we need something to look forward to. And God for Africans is that hope, because without God, we have nothing to look forward to. Life is just hard. Life in Africa is hard. So in that case, we, being an African, already conditions you, and it hardens you to be, I don't want to say hard-hearted, but it hardens you to not be soft. Most Africans, I would say all Africans are not soft. At least those who grew up and are living in Africa, we are not soft because we have really been through it. We've seen the worst of society. We've seen the worst of the worst, like going to bed hungry, being chased from school because you didn't pay school fees. Here in the Western society, it doesn't make sense. What do you mean being chased from school? Because school is free in most countries, right? Kids just go to school. Heck, you even get paid to have a child, right? But in Africa, if you go to school, you thank God. Some kids go to school with torn uniforms, torn shoes, because they don't have the money. So if you have a parent who is able to somehow afford to send you to school and make sure you're not chased from school, then you say, my dad loves me, my mom loves me, right? So in Africa, we're already taught to be grateful, to respect our parents or a husband who provides, because again, surviving and waking up every new day alive in Africa is a blessing, because most people did not make it. They died probably of hunger. And I'm not exaggerating. Things are just hard over there. So I'm thinking that, the reason why we never grew up, or even now, are not hearing these words of affection like I love you or come give me a hug, is because our parents don't have time for this softness, right? They are trying to survive. They're trying to find money to pay for your fees, and they do this. So they showed love through sacrifice, right? Like, if I manage to pay fees for you, it means I love you. I want the best for you. I want you to have a good future. You went to bed with a full stomach. That shows that I love you. If I didn't love you, I'll just let you go, right? So yeah, so for most of our parents, we never, let's face it, let's be honest, not many of us heard I love you from our parents. If we have started now that we're grown up, maybe now that we've moved out, you're living abroad and you're talking to your mom or your dad on the phone and you start saying I love you, or you are writing a text and you just say I love you. I personally am one of those people, and I know you are also, if you're being honest. Like, at some point I just started saying I love you, and it was really weird. And it was weird because it's something that you're embarrassed to say. You're embarrassed to say I love you to your parents because they've never said it. It's like a dirty word, right? It's like a dirty word, like saying I love you to your parents. It's dirty. Or yeah, so it's something that we started, if we are doing it, but most of us are still not doing it. Or maybe our generations, what we are doing with our kids now, because our kids watch movies and they're very independent. I'm not sure how it is raising a child in Africa now, but my child that I'm raising now, actually having a child taught me and showed me all of these things, like the things that I miss, because my child gives me 1,000 hugs a day, tells me I love you 1,000 times a day, and it's normal. But but for me to hear it, it's normal because they started when they were already young. But for me to say this to my mom, I'm like a little bit hesitant and a little bit embarrassed. So yeah, so we know our African parents, they loved us, but they just didn't say it. I mean, they have their own way of doing it by, say, acts of service. That's their love language, right? By showing up and showing you that I love you. So, like I was saying, for me, for example, I just recently started saying I love you to my parents, and it's still weird, like, to be honest, when I visit my parents and I'm greeting them or I'm saying goodbye and I hug them. I remember the first times I was doing this, those weird hugs where your hands are like going all over the place. You're like, you don't know what to do. You don't know where to put your hands. You want to hug someone. It is the first time you've ever done it. It's cringe. It's really cringe. But yeah, it is what it is, because my parents never, I mean, I know I've hugged my parents a few times now, and they probably never hugged their own parents. They were never told we love you by their own parents, but they know that their parents loved them, right? So it's like you cannot give what you don't have. So it's not us blaming our parents for not being emotionally available, to say that they're not good people, they're bad people. But yeah, this is what they have, right? You can't give what you don't have. You can't pour out of an empty cup. So I'm thinking for us as millennials, we can break this cycle and start a new cycle to show our children that being emotionally available is not weakness, is not being soft, and is not being Western, right? Like, don't stop acting white, or stop, you know what I'm saying? You guys, you know what I mean, right? Like when you do these kind of things, yeah, that's Western. Or when you say, I need therapy, they roll their eyes like, really? That's white people stuff. But it's really not, because we really do have a lot of issues that we need to deal with, that we need to unpack, that came to us sadly as a result of how we grew up. Even if our parents provided for us materially, that emotional side is a very important aspect in a child's life. Children need to be told that they are loved. Showing them love is not enough, sadly. I know this is will probably be against a popular opinion, but everyone, not children, everyone needs to be told that they're loved. Children need to know that my parent will love me regardless. Their love is unconditional. They are not only going to love me if I'm good, because being Africans, I've realized this, that you see that, for example, when your kid, right, when your kid fails a test, instead of shouting at them, and which is very normal, there are these countless videos on the internet of how African parents are angry. Like, this is funny to watch. We see it, it's funny, we laugh. But for me, to be honest, it really triggers me somehow. I get triggered because it's like our parents are so angry, and in the comments people write, oh, we all have the same parent. It's like you have a conversation with your father, it escalates from 0 to 100 very quickly. They are so angry and they don't want to spend time talking, and we love watching these videos and we laugh because it's funny, but it's really not funny if we really look into it. And again, I'm not soft. It's not me trying to unharden you people and make you soft. No, because you can't pour out of an empty cup. So I'm thinking for us as millennials, we can break this cycle and start a new cycle to show our children that being emotionally available is not weakness, is not being soft, and is not being Western, right? Like, don't stop acting white, or stop, you know what I'm saying? You guys, you know what I mean, right? Like when you do these kind of things, yeah, that's Western. Or when you say, I need therapy, they roll their eyes like, really? That's white people stuff. But it's really not, because we really do have a lot of issues that we need to deal with, that we need to unpack, that came to us sadly as a result of how we grew up. Even if our parents provided for us materially, that emotional side is a very important aspect in a child's life. Children need to be told that they are loved. Showing them love is not enough, sadly. I know this is will probably be against a popular opinion, but everyone, not children, everyone needs to be told that they're loved. Children need to know that my parent will love me regardless. Their love is unconditional. They are not only going to love me if I'm good, because being Africans, I've realized this, that you see that, for example, when your kid, right, when your kid fails a test, instead of shouting at them, and which is very normal, there are these countless videos on the internet of how African parents are angry. Like, this is funny to watch. We see it, it's funny, we laugh. But for me, to be honest, it really triggers me somehow. I get triggered because it's like our parents are so angry, and in the comments people write, oh, we all have the same parent. It's like you have a conversation with your father, it escalates from 0 to 100 very quickly. They are so angry and they don't want to spend time talking, and we love watching these videos and we laugh because it's funny, but it's really not funny if we really look into it, and again, I'm not soft. It's not me trying to unharden you people and make you soft. No, no, because everyone has an emotional, your emotional side is very important, right? Like now we have this crazy mental health crisis, and some of these things stem from what happened in your childhood. Your childhood really shapes and makes or breaks the kind of person that you are. You know how when we are watching movies and we see serial killers or psychopaths, right? People who are criminals, they start looking at their childhood. How did they grow up? Most of them, you see, they had like abusive parents, or they were also abused, and then the victim becomes the abuser. So your childhood is very important. So everyone's childhood is very important. It shapes who you become. Even if you read the theories from Sigmund Freud, you will see that how your early childhood development will really affect your personality and shape who you become as a person. So how we talk to our children is that we shouldn't be animals. We shouldn't be these people who are scary, right? Like how in Africa, when your father comes home, you jump, and you're like, you're scared. You're scared. He's not like a loving father. He doesn't exude this air of, I'm a loving father who's there for you. He's like an animal. You're scared of him because he's a no-nonsense person. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying to let your children to do whatever they want and walk all over you. That's not what I'm saying. But like, we shouldn't be so hard. We shouldn't be so harsh. We shouldn't be so angry. Let's be more softer to our children, and let's express love. Let's show them how they should be, because it really, even me now, if I'm being honest, when you grow up and you are in a certain kind of environment, it really it makes you into some kind of person. Like you're someone, for example, who is always seeking for validation, or you're a people pleaser because you are because you were never told you that I love you, or you were never told, your parents never told you they loved you or they are proud of you, and now you're constantly people pleasing, chasing that rush of having someone say, wow, well done, or wow, I'm proud of you. It's like it becomes kind of like an addiction of just chasing that validation from people, because your parents never told you that they loved you when you were a child, and now you grow up into this person who's like a doormat and everyone is walking all over because you're seeking those words that no one told you. Your parents never said, I'm proud of you. I wish you knew the amount of difference it makes in a child's life to tell them that I'm proud of you. My child always asks me, are you proud of me, mommy? Are you proud of me? Like when they do something, because it's like music to their ears. And I see that like everyone wants that validation, that someone is proud of them, that they did a good job. So this is the kind of things that we needed and we never got. And the purpose of this is just to help us to break that cycle, right? It's like a cycle which is ongoing. For our parents, let's excuse them, they didn't know any better because they were also raised the same way with their parents who also didn't know any better. But now we are at this age where we are able to see, and this digital age is great in some ways, because we are not just like closed off from the rest of the world and thinking that this is normal. We are now having access to education, to learning the things that are good and the things that are not good, the things that are beneficial and the things that are not beneficial. So this is the time to unlearn the bad behaviors and bad things that we learned when we were growing up. It's time to unlearn and break that cycle and become better parents for our children, for a better tomorrow, because it starts with you. You have to break that generational cycle of abuse, of emotional unavailability, of just being angry, because Black people, we're already labeled as angry people. But I mean, we are not, we are angry. We are, maybe we are angry. I mean, things are hard, right? So you don't have to be soft, which I understand. But if you look closely at how most of us really need therapy, like honestly speaking, most of us Africans, we need therapy. But again, we don't even say it because we think therapy is soft, therapy is Western, like we don't need therapy. It's not that serious. Man up and deal with your life. But we need therapy because we may excel in every aspect of our lives, but emotionally we are not there. As men, you become this thing of people say black men are not available, they're emotionally unavailable. It's better to be with a white man because they will really show you love. The reason why black men are like that is because they were taught that showing emotion is a sign of weakness, but it really isn't. A strong man says I love you to their wives and they are emotionally available. That doesn't make you weak or less of a man. And as women, we keep on chasing men who are emotionally unavailable. We keep on recycling that cycle of abuse, of pain. You chase one emotionally unavailable man after the other, and it becomes a cycle. So we need to break this, and it starts with how we if you trace it to where it started, you will definitely see that it started from obviously when you were born and how you were raised. But while you're also trying to heal yourself and become better so that you can be a better parent for your children, a better spouse to your spouse, and a better person overall, you need to first recognize what the problem is, and then you need to accept that this is an issue, and then you need to work on changing it and transforming your mind and transforming your thought process and then learning new behaviors. But if we keep on dismissing it like it doesn't matter, then you cannot solve something that you don't really deal with and address. So yeah, I think if you're being honest, as Africans, we need to do better and we need to heal and just be better parents for our children so that we can make the world really to be a better place and to become a new generation of Africans, right? And change the way that people view us as angry, emotionally unavailable, harsh, tough, all the bad things that people associate with us. It's mostly because of the experiences that we had. It's not our fault. These are the cards that we're dealt. So we can't change how you're born in Africa, poverty stricken, things are just hard. This is, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. But you should not let your environment decide who you become, because you grew up in a toxic household and you become toxic and you spread the toxicity. No, you should face your problem, acknowledge it, and try to be a better person in order for the next generation to also benefit from you. So yeah, I hope this helped, and catch you on the next episode. Bye.